He's the only older guy, only older rapper that gave me a chance.
Yes.
Meek told Skrilla, don't bring FsDaBender.
Yeah.
To the Roots Picnic. He said, don't bring FS. You know what Beans told me how to take that? He said, you don't take that no wrong way. You don't take that, you don't go at him. You know what I'm saying? You just take that and you analyze it. And you see how he said, how that make you feel? I said, I don't know. He said, that shit should make you feel good. Cause you in them rooms and you not in them rooms. You know what I'm saying?
Being talked about.
Meek know who I am. Meek know I'm a gangster. Meek know I'm a cold gangster. That's why he don't want me around. And he don't want to take with, when he be seen with me, he knew that shit gonna come with. I respect it. I'm not mad at it. Meek, I'm not mad at you. It's just, you know, you elevated. You bigger than you bigger than this shit. So you can't have this shit around you. I'm not mad at that.
And shut your up. Talking about don't bring FsDaBender. You scared. That's some turkey. Yeah, make sure whatever you do, Skrilla, don't bring FS. That's like when he told Drake, yeah, don't AR ab. That's corny, bro. You talk to them white niggas and Lil Baby and all them niggas like that, wearing their shorts up to their thighs and with tats right here. You talk to Lil Baby like that. You don't talk to no real niggas from Hain Street. I'm Tanya, son.
There are some people you just don't go at because you don't know how far they're willing to take it. FsDaBender is exactly that type of person. Coming out of West Philadelphia, he's been shot at, been through real street conflict, and still moved like nothing could touch him. But what made him a topic of conversation wasn't just the streets. It was the fact that he publicly went at Meek Mill. No hesitation, no filter. Full disrespect toward one of Philly's biggest names. And he did all of this while his own situation was falling apart around him. To understand why someone makes moves like that, you have to go back to the beginning. Who is FsDaBender? His real name is Kasim Brown, and he comes from the west side of Philadelphia, an area where reputation carries more weight than anything else. He's connected to a group called YBC, Young Bag Chasers. In Philly, that name isn't just about music. It comes with a history attached to it that stretches back years and involves serious conflict on multiple sides. That's why, even without mainstream success, his name already carried weight before he ever dropped a project. People weren't paying attention because of streams. They were paying attention because of who he was tied to and how he moved. And the way he moved was different from the start. Even in interviews, you'd see people around him telling him to chill, and he'd just keep going. No limits, no second guessing. That's both what made him stand out, and what started creating problems for him. To understand his mindset, you have to understand the environment he was operating in. YBC had been locked in a serious conflict with another group, CCK, that had been building since around 2017. By 2021, it had escalated to a point where it was contributing to some of the highest violence Philadelphia had seen in years. Multiple groups, shifting alliances, and enough public attention that authorities started naming specific circles openly. When you grow up in the middle of something like that, it shapes everything. How you think, how you react, how you handle any kind of conflict. It wasn't just background noise for FS, he was embedded in it. And that environment created a specific type of mentality, one where showing any kind of restraint can be seen as weakness, and going further than everyone else becomes the standard. That mentality showed up directly in how he approached everything, including music. He started getting called Mr. Disrespectful, and it wasn't just a nickname. It described exactly how he operated. This wasn't regular dissing in songs. He was recreating actual situations in music videos, scenes that mirrored real events, visuals that made the content feel less like entertainment and more like a direct message. He mocked opponents in ways most people wouldn't consider. He crossed lines that even in that environment were considered far. And the result? Clips spread fast. People reacted. His name grew, but so did the tension around him. For some, it built fear. For others, it built serious anger. And in an already tense environment, that kind of energy doesn't just sit there. It comes back. It didn't take long before things started hitting close. One of the first major losses was YBC Josh, someone from his circle who was gone suddenly. According to what FS shared, they had spoken just hours before it happened. That kind of loss doesn't just create grief. It creates a shift in how someone sees everything around them. More losses followed. And with each one, the pressure built. Then came a moment that should have changed everything. He was sitting outside on his grandmother's porch. Nothing unusual. When people approached from his blind side. No warning, no time to prepare. By every measure, that situation should have ended differently, but something small made him turn at exactly the right moment. He saw them. And that split second gave him a chance he used. He survived something most people don't walk away from. And then he kept moving exactly the same way. No slowdown, no adjustment. Same decisions, same lifestyle, same energy. As if the moment hadn't happened at all. That tells you something important about where his head was at. When someone survives something like that and still doesn't change course, they're usually not thinking about outcomes anymore. They're just moving. And that same mentality is what led him to go public against Meek Mill. From FS's side, it started personally. He claimed Meek had distanced himself, told people not to bring him into certain spaces. And for someone who operates on respect above everything else, that felt like a direct insult. So he responded directly. He went public saying he doesn't respect Meek, questioned his image, said he's not who people believe him to be. He compared him to Lil Uzi Vert, saying Uzi was more genuine. I'd more connected to the city on a real level. That comparison made it bigger, because now it wasn't just frustration. It was a full public contrast between two Philly figures with very different levels of reach. Clips circulated. People picked sides. The conversation spread. But the thing about making moves like that publicly is that it draws attention from more than just fans and rivals. And while FS was gaining that attention online, something much more serious was already building around him. In early 2026, a large operation came down connected to the YBC situation. Multiple arrests, multiple individuals, a case built over time through investigation, tracking movements, connections, and patterns. The kind of case that doesn't come together overnight. And FS was on that list. What makes this part hit differently is something he had actually said before any of this happened. In earlier interviews, he was asked what he feared. Not street situations, not rivals. The one thing he admitted worried him was going back to jail. That was the one line he drew. And now that's exactly where things have landed. For someone whose music was starting to build real momentum, who had the attention, the reputation, the platform to actually do something with it, this is the moment that could close the door before it ever fully opens. Looking at the full story, the pattern is clear. FsDaBender had everything needed to build something real. A reputation that translated beyond the streets, a voice that people were actually listening to, and a story compelling enough to carry serious attention. But the same choices that created that platform also kept pulling everything back down. The near-death moment didn't shift anything. The losses didn't slow the pace. Even his own admitted fear wasn't enough to change the direction. And that's what makes this story worth paying attention to. Not just what happened, but what didn't change when it had the chance to. Because the warning signs were visible the whole time. The real question isn't whether this outcome was surprising, it's whether there was ever a point where it could have gone differently, or whether the path was locked in long before anyone was watching. FsDaBender's story isn't unique to him. It's a story that plays out constantly in cities like Philadelphia, where the environment builds you into something powerful, but that same environment keeps pulling you back before you can fully escape it. The talent was real. The attention was real. The momentum was building, but so were the consequences. And at some point, those two things couldn't exist together anymore. Whether he finds a way forward from here, that's still an open question. People have come back from situations like this before, but it takes a completely different mindset than the one that created the problem in the first place. For now, the story is still being written. If you made it this far, you already know this channel covers stories that don't get told the right way anywhere else. Real backgrounds, real situations, no sugarcoating. If that's the kind of content you're looking for, subscribe, because there's a lot more coming. Same here, drop a comment below. Do you think FsDaBender still has a future in music after all of this? Or is it already over? And if you want to see the next story before everyone else, hit the notification bell. We'll see you in the next one.